sits there. It has 3 zones to the boiler. The boiler can only do 3 zones. But I think it's 3 temperature zones. If you look at the magnet,
and just like that, the engine and the frame are in the same building. We're doing this in the shop as opposed to the garage because, well, there's quite a bit more room in here, and forklift makes everything way easier. The crate engine is buried like normal. Everything's always buried. I gotta clean that out and start pulling stuff off the frame. Not off the frame, off the engine. Pull the engine off the frame. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, so it's not the tidiest networking job anyone's ever done, but it's all going to have to come down anyway when we work on this overhang. The floor needs a lot of work, but we had somebody steal some stuff, so I have to get security cameras up and running ASAP in case somebody else tries to. This was the first time we've had scrap stolen off of this property, at least that we know of. Property next door where we used to run the business out of, we had somebody try to steal some stuff. They were stopped in the middle of it for some reason. I don't know why. I'm guessing probably I scared them going outside late at night. I don't know. In lieu of a server rack, some clamps and a beam work just as well. This is a Dell Power Connect 5524P. I think that's what that said. I got a few of these Power Connects operating around here, and I actually quite like them. They got 2 SFP ports, so I can connect an in and an out fiber if I wanted to, and actually do that quite a bit. This one's power over Ethernet, so it's powering the cameras. And I got a fiber line that's going back to the server rack located next door. I just have to splice that, and those cameras will be operational. So we're over here in the shop, little micro rack for in here. There wasn't a beam available. I got 2 Power Connect network switches. The bottom one is the main network switch. I had that here first. And then with the addition of security cameras, I got the Power over Ethernet network switch. I just noticed my shutter was really high, so I'm betting that last video looked like crap. I ain't redoing it though. Anyway, we're here to explain something. We're here to show one of the reasons I like these network switches. They're stackable. Hey, you can see my finger. I'm doing finger pointing shadow puppets. Anyway, this HDMI cable goes between the 2 switches, which basically makes these 2 switches into a single network switch. I believe that HDMI cable can do 40 gigabits a second, going off of memory, which isn't usually any good, so just look up the specs if you actually want to know the correct answer. But I should also have access to these 2 SFP ports. If I don't, I'm kind of in a world of trouble because I need one to go to the barn. That one's already occupied. One of them's going to my server rack. One of them's going outside for, you guessed it, more security cameras. Don't you just love criminals that make your life so freaking difficult? Get a job! Alright, got the old Ars Fujian splitter. Made by Fujikura. I'm just kidding, I don't know how to say Fujikura. Anyway, this is a fiber optic splicer kit that I pieced together from eBay. I need to unplug that light, it's killing my video. Everything's shadowy. So, a fiber optic cable consists of an outside jacket, normally. Then it's got reinforcement strings for pulling. This is Kevlar actually. And then you have the fiber optic cables. Now the fiber optic cables, unlike copper wire, is sitting in the jacket loose. I don't know if you can see that, but basically the fiber optic cable is basically sitting inside of a tube. Then the fiber optic cables itself consists of an outside jacket, I believe it's called a buffer tube, and then the actual glass portion of the fiber optic. Actually, no, the buffer tube might, I don't know. The core is what transmits the actual light, then the glass around the core, which is a different type of glass, directs the light through the core. Science. Now obviously you need to terminate the fiber optic line. Now there are several ways to do this. One of them is to get some kind of like clamp on things where the fiber optic goes into a gel and then you just kind of clamp it on. They work. I don't like them. They just seem really sensitive to breakage. Then you could do the old-fashioned way, which I've never actually done, but I believe you kind of mold an epoxy connector around the fiber optic cable or wire, fiber optic line. The fiber, that's it. And then you polish the end to where it's perfectly smooth. Who feels like doing that? So what I do is I use a splicer and I splice on a connector. Now normally you'd get pigtails. I'm trying to get this done in a hurry, so I just cut a fiber optic cable in half. Amazon has cables, they don't really have pigtails. I also ordered some pigtails, but they won't get here in time. So there is no possible way you're going to be able to focus on that, but you can see the outside jacket was stripped away and there is a piece of glass there. Oh, right there. You can see that's a piece of glass. This is a thermal stripper, though it doesn't seem to work quite right. Have to look into that. The glass is then cleaved, giving a clean, crisp edge to fuse against. There's going to be somebody who splices fiber for a living and it's going to be like, this guy's a moron. Look, I don't do this for a living. I just thought it's interesting. You didn't do that all over again because you forgot to put the heat shrink on. This is a heat shrink tube with a steel bar inside. It reinforces the connection. So yeah, that didn't go so well. Like I said, I ain't no fiber man. I just do it because I can, and it's kind of fun. But this is what it looks like once I'm done. It goes into plastic case, protects the splice, and zip ties the jacket so that the fibers remain safe and secure. So here's a type of fiber connection. It's like a banjo connection. There's a plastic cap on here protecting it. It is critical that these remain scratch-free and dust-free. That's where this little microscope comes in handy. You can see, maybe, can we? Okay, so screens are always hard to record, but you can kind of see the fiber optic end right there. The black, I believe, is the buffer, and the little white spot is where the light comes out of. As you can see, there's no dust. Checking the other side, have to focus, and this connector looks like it's good to plug in. If I grab the right fiber optic cable, which I didn't, as you can see, this one's aqua, which is the one I need to replace. I rigged it. It's been working fine, but I do want to replace it. But I think I need an orange one or an aqua, which I remember on my desk. Yellow is long range. Aqua or orange is short range. There's a little more to it than that, but that's all you really need to know right now. So this is a fiber cleaner, go like that, and there's some, I guess, I don't think it's sticky, but it's some type of cloth material. It's got two slots for this type of connector. Focus! Sheesh, I hate this lens. But it's got two slots for that, but I mean, you can also use it for that. It doesn't really matter. Now this plugs into this SFP thingamabobber, which I use this pen thing to clean it. And this is crappy camera work. Just go like that and it cleans it. I mean, while we're here, this is a SFP transducer fiber optic module. Basically, these switches have SFP ports. You can get 1 gig or 10 gig out of them. Not in between. It's either 1 gig or 10 gig. I learned that the hard way. But you can connect up either fiber optic or 10 gig copper. Yes, you can get 10 gigs out of copper. The only real reason you go with fiber optic is distance. You have less issues with electrical interference. Or lightning, which is one of the reasons I'm going with fiber optic between the buildings. Previous owners said there's a lot of lightning strikes here. I lived next door most of my life, and I don't remember a whole lot of lightning strikes over here, but hey, why risk it? I forget if I said this in a previous video, but I was having issues with recording and doing the splicing, so you didn't really get to see it in action. There is an arc that takes place between those two electrodes. It basically melts the ends of the fiber optics, and then these, oh, where am I? These push in the fiber optic ever so slightly and makes a perfect fusion. Well, maybe not perfect, but dang near close. I don't want to show all my cameras, but here's proof of life. This is on the barn. In case you're wondering why we have such an absurdly large TV in our office, it's for our dispatch screen, so we know what's going on this week and next. But yeah, I'm slightly concerned that this many cameras, and I think I have like 12, might be too much for this computer. I'm noticing spikes when multiple cameras are recording. Might have to try to put in a graphics card. This is just a server, as you can probably tell by the Xeon. So no graphics card. So, well, as you can see, it's spiking most of the CPUs. I triggered a camera group, but the freaking thing wouldn't cooperate and was trying not to show you all my cameras. So, yeah. But those spikes have me worried. Now that is like 4 cameras being recorded simultaneously, and one of them was quite large video size. I think it's 4 megapixel. So yeah, there's a lot of data it's recording, but I don't want it to have to record and lose information because the computer couldn't handle it. So that's going to be another project, but it works for now, so at least we're mostly secure. Although I still want to add more cameras.